Hi, my name is Nick Fennell and I'm the Cloud Systems Engineer for UK and Ireland. I'd like to talk to you today about the new Veeam Service Provider Console V4 and what's new in this new piece of software. First of all, before we get started, I want to take the opportunity to announce that the Veeam Availability Console has been renamed to Veeam Service Provider Console. So we'll all know this product has been around for a good few years now, and at version 3 we've taken the opportunity to rename it and relaunch it as the Veeam Service Provider Console, and you'll see that listed as version 4. This rebranding reinforces that Veeam Service Provider Console is a purpose-built product specific for helping cloud and managed service providers scale their Veeam powered managed backups, whether physical, virtual or cloud-based. Veeam Cloud Service Provider Console still maintains the features and capabilities that we're used to, now with even more features and enhancements to help you grow your business and stand out from the competition. Veeam Availability Console was free, and we're keeping the Veeam Service Provider Console free to make it as easy as possible for you to deliver more value to your customers. VSPC has 3 key benefits. Deliver more value to your customers through fully managed on-site backups, backup as a service, DR as a service. To increase earning potential through that recurring revenue model of managed service provider business that you were used to. And to differentiate from your competition by delivering more value through these fully managed backups. So instead of the traditional resale model, you now have a constant flow of communication between you and your customers to deliver more value with the services you offer. So again, Veeam Service Provider Console is a great fit for the service provider partners that we have out there, as well as the 65,000 Veeam resellers and also our 365,000 Veeam customers around the world. These partners and resellers are hugely active with our customer base, and they all have potential for delivering the services, the Veeam services, using this new console. So getting a managed backup service up and running and maintaining it doesn't come without its challenges, especially if you're starting out and you've not done this before. So we see questions like, how do you reliably connect to a customer's environment? Once connected, how do you easily discover the components that need to be protected? Virtual machines, workstations, and on-premises machines, physical or virtual. Also, how do you go about discovering, monitoring, and managing these components on a day-to-day basis? How do you go about getting paid, making sure you have the accounting and aggregation and billing services in place? And finally, security. How do you ensure that the transfer of the data that you're managing is secure? That's sending backups from your customer to your cloud infrastructure, or whether it's replication of those workloads to offer a DR service. So I'll try and address these in the next few slides, but first, this is what's new in V4. So we have a new integration with ConnectWise Automate. That's adding to the existing ConnectWise Manage that we introduced last year, and that's part of our plugin library, which I'll talk about in a second. We have some enhanced usage reporting, new capabilities to support BBR version 10, which again was released earlier in 2020. An enhanced API interface that includes RESTful API version 3. And an enhanced reseller role that delegates all of these new features down to the reseller or the company tier. So I mentioned the plugin library. Why do we have a plugin library? I think it's been a very useful addition to the product. It allows for advanced billing and invoicing and advanced ticketing and the showcase for future integrations. And one of those that we've added is actually Grafana. For those of you not familiar with it, it allows you to query, visualize, and alert on data metrics. This is a third-party product, but the platform allows you to create dashboards that are based on the data that we collect within the Veeam Service Provider Console. So just to touch on the headline features, so we've got ConnectWise automation integration. There's a brand new feature in version 4, and this integration gives service providers the ability to actively monitor their customers' Veeam environments all through the ConnectWise Automate dashboard. You can consolidate job management, discover and install and upgrade all the Veeam managed agents, again from within that ConnectWise console, and simplify remote monitoring and management, saving your time, effort and resources. So a really useful addition for those ConnectWise users out there. Our enhanced usage reporting gives visibility of the granular usage and consumption across your entire customer base, along with single reports to view all data usage as well. All these enhancements provide less time for aggregating points and workloads and freeing up your time and resources to focus on your strategic and your operational activities. We've added new capabilities to support version 10 of Veeam Backup and Replication, including key monitoring for the new network attached storage backups, which is a new feature that again came with that product earlier this year. Platform support for Veeam Cloud Connect version 10 offers the ability to delete backup files and Veeam Agent for Windows management, which again we'll try and touch on at a later date. This improves the efficiency and the ability to manage policy settings and roll these out to the agent installs. All of these additions are aimed to streamline the functionality of the service provider role through the Veeam Service Provider Console. Enhanced API interface that's been added is now RESTful API version 3 and strengthens this integration between the console and any existing workflows you have already, providing actions and endpoints around billing, usage reporting, and status of the protected workloads. All these enhancements provide additional routes to automation to help save time and focus your attention on your key activities. Hosting providers also offer a white label version of the console to your reseller network can make use of some of these enhancements through the API as it's dropped down now through the reseller tier. So the enhanced reseller role, finally, just to touch on this point. So again, to strengthen the loyalty of the partnership between the service provider and your resellers and then your customers. Version 4 of the console extends the features and enhancements so this flow can travel all the way down that stack. We offer greater visibility for service providers and their partners into the consumption of the licenses used within the system. So just to talk about the unique strengths that we have here. So Veeam delivers partners everything you need for a successful managed service offering. From the management platform to the actual backup technology itself, with no competition from Veeam. The Cloud Connect technology, there is no need for a direct connection between your customer and your offsite repository. It's all done through secure connections that are built within the platform. We also offer in-depth reporting into the customer's entire virtual, physical or cloud infrastructure, status, health, and resource usage. We have native billing technologies that work out of the box, so partners have everything they need to get paid without crunching additional numbers. We can leverage built-in integrations with ConnectWise, as we've talked about already. We can secure the multi-tenancy capabilities, providing visibility for customers to view their protected machines themselves, and they connect into the console and can see their own view and their own consumptions. And again, finally, the console ships with its own REST API, allowing partners to integrate and manage that workflow. Again, the managed services workspace is becoming a rapid growth area, and we are there to help support that cloud and managed service providers. This console has been designed specifically to address some of these issues, some of these challenges you have. So, for example, VCSPs can now further address their market and expand the usage of Veeam by leveraging the console and this remote monitoring feature. The Veeam resale partners can evolve the business from a traditional break fix into much more of a reoccurring revenue through managed backup services. And net new VCSPs who want to launch a managed service or want to add a managed service to something they already have now have the opportunity to use this platform to help launch that into a product for the marketplace. We provide everything you need for the management and monitoring. So how to get started? Really easy. You can apply to join the Veeam Cloud Service Provider Program. You can get your Veeam Service Provider Console key, and then that will unlock the ability for you to start offering your managed services today. So just to wrap this section up, the Veeam Service Provider Console version 4, it's purpose-built for service providers to manage their backup services. We've got automatic and granular usage reporting and billing workflows, and the service provider console snaps on top of your already Veeam powered services that you have already, seamlessly adding to the Veeam infrastructure that you offer to your customers. Thanks very much. Hi, as a Veeam partner, we understand how important it is for you to be able to expand your managed services business. In order to do this effectively, you need a tool in place which will help reduce management complexities and also give you full visibility of how your resources are being leveraged. This is what the Veeam Service Provider Console has been designed to achieve. Powerful capabilities have been built in, which give you a bird's eye view of all the data that's been protected, how and where, and also allow you to carve up pieces of this and give it to your resellers, which can rebrand with their own company logo and colours for their users in turn. Let's flip over to the lab for a brief tour of the new Veeam Service Provider Console. Now we're in the lab, we can walk through some of the high-level features you should make yourself aware of. After completing the initial install, you'll be presented with this overview screen. This is a dashboard showing the number of widgets running across the top of the screen, which give you an at-a-glance information. These include the client alarms, monthly revenue, protected virtual machines, protected computers, cloud replicas and cloud backups, and importantly, if you're using version 10, this can show you the protected files, which is insight into the network attached storage protection which we have. You may wonder how we get the customer information to populate this console, as this is the core functionality of this interface. This can occur in a couple of different ways. Firstly, when the customer is setting up their service provider connection to enable off-site data protection, as you can see here, open up the properties box, there's a tick box which needs to be enabled. This allows the management agent to be installed on this VBR console, which will be at the customer premises, and then enables the flow of data upstream to the service provider console. So simply ticking this box and then clicking next allows that to happen. Coming back to this overview console, just looking down this left hand side, we can see there is monitoring, there's management, and there's clients, and finally there's reporting. So the second way of importing information into this console is to look at the clients. And for this, we'll look first for discovery. So as you can see, what we have here is a number of rules that we can define. So we'll just look at the first one and we'll click edit. And this is the way that you would define the rule that would go away and search a customer premises so you could extract the data and drag it back into this console for an overview. So as you can see, we have a rule name, we have the company details, we have a discovery method. This is really important to choose whether you'd want to do network-based discovery, Active Directory integration, or importing from a CSV file. Depending which one you choose, you then get another series of options change. You have the access account to be able to give administrative privileges to be able to access those remote agent machines, which OUs you'd want to scan, and any filters to include or exclude. We also have email notifications in case you'd want to inform somebody, either yourself or the customer, about what's going on. Finally, we have backup agent deployment, and this is really important to consider. The default setting is that the remote manager will be installed, but not the backup agent. This would allow the discovery of the remote machines and some of the extraction of the data, but wouldn't necessarily push out the backup agent. If you choose this second radio button, you now have the ability to push out the backup agent to those machines that you discover. And again, you can set policies that can be applied that will enforce backup regimes on these located computers. Finally, there's a summary screen that highlights all the things that you've set, and you click Finish to set those in motion. Another method, if you have roaming users that are not based at a particular network address, is you can use discovered computers. Now in here, there's an option to download the agent, as you can see. And what that would do is allow you to download the agent and then transfer that installable file to a remote location, to maybe a laptop. And then when that laptop next connects to the internet, it will call back to this system and register itself so it appears on these lists of machines. At that point, you can then select that machine, apply a policy, and that will get pushed down next time it contacts the console. So moving over to this third tab, we see discovered backup agents. These are all the machines that you've installed that agent on and have called back and have now populated this service provider console. As you can see, you have various columns: agent status, host name, the backup policy that's been applied, and then whether the agent is up to date or has failed to update. And as you can see, some of these are hyperlinks, and as we click on them, we can get a pop-up that tells you the details that are going on. So in this case, the specified username and password is incorrect. What you also see is the backup policy. So again, something you can click on. We can highlight that, click on the button, and it will take us to the definition of that backup policy that's been applied to that agent. Again, more detail, we can click on that and we can walk through how this has been installed and configured for this particular agent. This policy can either be server-based or workstation-based, depending on what functionality you require. The backup mode, again, just like our standard install of the agent, if you've seen that before, we offer those same options for the entire computer, volume level or individual file level backup. We have destination. Ideally, you want to be moving data offsite to a Cloud Connect repository, but it can be directed at other locations accessible by the agent machine. Work our way through where there is a cache enabled, when the job should run, and finally a summary. If you wanted to create a policy from scratch, you'd first go to configuration, you'd go to backup policies, and you create a new policy from scratch from here. And again, follows through those same menu options that we've just seen. Finally, our last tab on this screen is Discovered Backup Servers. So we click on that. And this is a list of all the servers that have that box ticked I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, when an end user will connect to their service provider and allow that remote management tick box. That then pushes that Veeam backup server into this list so they can be seen and then viewed. We can force the collection of the data, or can make options to download logs from that machine to aid any troubleshooting. If you just take a minute and look at the backup jobs, you can see over here, again, there's a number of tabs you need to be aware of. This first one would list the computers that we are individually monitoring and protecting. So for example, you can select one and then you could start or stop that job. You could create a new job if you required. The agent UI mode is very useful if you want to disable the GUI on that agent to stop it being interfered with by the end user. And importantly, we can change the settings. And this is pushed down to those agents and allows you to do things like disable control panel notifications, throttle backup activity when the system is busy, or limit bandwidth consumption altogether. So we can limit the impact that the backup might have on that particular agent. If we move over to the computers protected by the VBR server, we click there. What you can see now is the jobs that run on that particular backup server, and then this job, as you can see, we can drill down, and within that job there was a machine that was protected, and what we have at the end is some various tags that we can turn on or turn off to add or reduce detail onto this summary page. If we move over to virtual machines, these are the virtual machines that are protected by the VBR servers. So again, we can see each of the jobs that have been running, and you can click on a failure in this instance, and you can scroll down and try and troubleshoot what actually was wrong with that job. If you select one of these rows, you can start or stop the job if it was already running, or get it to retry if there's a failure. And finally on this screen, we have file shares. So if the Veeam backup server was protecting a network attached storage, that would appear in here as a job, and again you'd be able to see the job run and the statistics, whether it failed, whether it's successful, and any of the other options that are displayed in this menu down the side. And I'd like to wrap this session by just briefly covering the Veeam Agent version 4 key features. So you've seen in this session, we talk about a simple rollout. We can automate the deployment and configuration of the agent using the console that you've witnessed. Also, the tight integration we have with Veeam Cloud Connect, so we can extend that protection of agent machines so that their backups can be sent off-site over to a cloud provider running the Veeam Cloud Connect platform, and then you can view the status of those backups using the console again that we've seen today. And finally, multiple recovery options. I'm not going into the detail today, but anyone who's used the agent before or is aware of the features, you can do file, folder, volume, or even bare metal recovery using the agent tool. That's all built into the platform itself, and there's a full user guide and help sheet to be able to explain how that. Thank you for your time today. We've covered an awful lot in this session, primarily an introduction to the new Veeam Service Provider Console version 4, but also to highlight the integration we have with the Veeam agents and the ability to configure and deploy through that same GUI. Thanks very much for your time. Hope to speak to you again.